Alrighty guys, today we will be reversing DeMar DeRozan's entire career. As you guys may know, recently he got traded to the Sacramento Kings, so although he hasn't played a season yet with the Kings, we will start his rookie year off with the Sacramento Kings. So yeah, unfortunately enough, he will come off the bench in his rookie year. He will be the backup guard to Tyreke Evans. Now the team's not looking too good, but honestly, out of all the reversing careers, I think DeMar DeRozan has the best odds to win multiple championships with multiple teams. Because as you guys may know, after this, he's headed back to Chicago with Derrick Rose. So that's going to be a very, very nasty duo. And then after his Chicago era, he's going back to San Antonio where they recently won a championship. And then after San Antonio, he's going to Toronto where they won a championship in 2019. And it's going to be nasty. It's going to be real nasty. So at the trade deadline, the team is 8-41, which is not good whatsoever. DeMar DeRozan is not having a good year either, averaging 11.5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and horrible shooting splits outside of the field goal. This is not looking good for them or DeMar DeRozan whatsoever. But again, have no fear because literally after this, DeMar DeRozan, it's only up. It's only up from there. MVP goes to Kevin Garnett. Blake Griffin, who's now in Phoenix, so they must have traded for him, wins Rookie of the Year. And Sixth Man also goes to Blake Griffin. DPOY goes to Raphael Alston. MIP goes to Jordan Farmer. And Coach of the Year, Doc Rivers with a 59-23 record. DeMar DeRozan did not make any All-NBA teams, which is as expected. He is still very young and he's up and coming. The Kings finished with arguably one of the worst records I've ever seen, 12-70, which is very, very bad. This is with DeMar DeRozan, by the way. And the Toronto Raptors out east made it as the 8th seed. We'll go ahead and simulate the playoffs. We have the Celtics sweeping in 4. Kevin Garnett is your MVP. DeMar DeRozan has officially hit his Chicago era where he will play with the Chicago Bulls for the next 3 seasons. This team is looking real nice. He will be the starting shooting guard alongside Derrick Rose at the starting point guard. With Carlos Boozer, Joakim Noah, this team is looking real good. Honestly, this whole starting lineup of Luol Deng, DeRozan, Joakim Noah, Carlos Boozer, and Derrick Rose is going to be real nice. But oddly enough, they want DeMar DeRozan to come off the bench, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. So I'm gonna intervene here because there's no way you're having DeMar DeRozan come off the bench for Ronnie Brewer. There's no way that's happening. Much better like this. Then off the bench, Ronnie Brewer, Kurt Thomas, CJ Watson, Taj Gibson. Yeah, this team is going to be real nice. Kyle Korver's not getting that many minutes. He's getting 0 to be exact. This team is going to be real nice. You add Derrick Rose's MVP season, you add DeMar DeRozan to that. This team could go pretty far. I have a lot of beliefs in them. Okay, at the trade deadline, the Chicago Bulls are 39-12, which is really good. They are currently number 1 in front of the Keto LeBron and number 1 in the entire league, which is really good. Derrick Rose is averaging 27.5, 4 rebounds, 9.5 assists, so he might win MVP like he did in real life, whereas DeMar DeRozan is averaging 16 points, about 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and pretty good efficiency for the team. So yes, as you guys may know, I have NBA 2K24 on current gen now. I used to have it on old gen on the PC, which was super outdated, and I didn't know that at the time when I bought it. So as I was looking at the 2K25 shop on the PlayStation Store, I noticed that 2K24 was free with the PS Plus, so I went ahead and copped it. So now for the next 2 months, we will have current gen 2K24. Anyways, LeBron James is your MVP. Blake Griffin is your Rookie of the Year for the 2nd time in a row. Greg Oden is your 6th man. Josh Smith, DPOY. Serge Ibaka, MIP. And Tom Thibodeau, Coach of the Year, with a 67-15 record. We had Derrick Rose make an All-NBA first, and DeMar DeRozan is nowhere to be seen. So the Chicago Bulls finished number 1 out east and number 1 in the entire league, pretty convincingly too. But as Chicago fans know, they beat him 4-0 in the regular season just to lose them in the playoffs. Anyways, DeMar DeRozan finished the season 16 points, about 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and very good efficiency for his 2nd year in the league. They are versus the Bucks in the first round, and we could actually simulate game by game, which is good. They're up 1-0. They tied up 1-1, which is not good. 2-1. Hopefully, we could end it over here in 4. So the Chicago Bulls win in 5 versus the Boston Celtics in the 2nd round. So go ahead and simulate that round. And the Chicago Bulls advance in 7 to face the Miami Heat or LeBrons, which hopefully we could advance to the finals. In this situation, no. Instead, the Chicago Bulls lose in 7. Go ahead and simulate the playoffs, and the LeBron Heatles win in 5. DeRozan's 3rd year into the league and his 2nd season in Chicago. The team's looking about the same. They now acquired Jimmy Butler as their rookie, and Derrick Rose just finished having his MVP season, so the team is still very, very, very strong. The starting lineup consists of Derrick Rose at the 1, DeMar DeRozan at the 2, Luol Deng at the 3, Carlos Boozer at the 4, and Joakim Noah at the 5. And then off the bench, they have Rip Hamilton, Nate Robinson, Kirk Heinrich, Marco Bellinelli, and Jimmy Butler in his rookie season getting 12 minutes. Halfway through the season, the Chicago Bulls are 34-17, which is a very strong record to have. They're number 2 out east and about the 4th, 3rd best team out in the league. I don't know why it doesn't show as other years, but DeMar DeRozan is averaging 15 points, 3 rebounds, about 1 assist, and his efficiency kind of went down from the 3 3-point line especially. But to say the least, the team is looking still very good, and I'm pretty convinced they could face LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals again. At the end of the season, LeBron James is your MVP, Mike Scott Rookie of the Year, J.R. Smith 6-man, Dwight Howard DPOY, James Harden MIP, and Eric Spoelstra Coach of the Year with a 65-17 record. This time, Derrick Rose does not make All-NBA first or All-NBA second. He does not make the All-NBA team at all. DeMar DeRozan doesn't either. The Chicago Bulls finished with a 15-24 record, which is pretty convincingly the second best team out east. And as for the entire league, they are number 4 behind the Memphis Grizzlies, OKC Thunder, and the Miami Heat. DeMar DeRozan finished the year averaging 15 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1 assist, which is really good numbers. In the first round versus the Wizards, go ahead and simulate that round. And the Bulls will advance in 4, where they will face the Philadelphia 76ers in the second round. And they advanced in 7. I think the Philadelphia, they just blew a 3-1 lead there. Derrick Rose and the Heatles meet again, where they look to advance in the finals this time, simulate the round, and they lose in 7 once again, where they would have faced the Grizzlies. Simulate this round, and the Grizzlies win in 5 this time. Zach Randolph is your finals MVP. DeMar DeRozan's last year in Chicago, this is where Derrick Rose unfortunately got injured and missed out the entire season, but the team is still looking pretty decent. Jimmy Butler's progressing a little bit. DeMar DeRozan's now an 87, and Joakim Noah's an 87, so this can be a nice little duo here. DeMar DeRozan's really gonna have to step it up. It will be Kirk Heinrich at the 1, DeMar DeRozan at the 2, Luol Deng at the 3, Carlos Boozer at the 4, and Joakim Noah at the 5, with Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson as your 6 and 7 man. Midway through the season, the Chicago Bulls are 35-16, so that means DeMar DeRozan might be popping the heck off. And yep, he's averaging 19 points, 4.5 rebounds, about 1.5 assists, and his efficiency is pretty good outside of the 3-point line, but it's probably gonna be like that for his entire career. To say the least, the team is still afloat. Yep. They're 2 out east, and then in the entire league they're about 5 or 6. So honestly, with their record, just based off their record, they could probably go to the Eastern Conference Finals once again to face the Miami Heatles. At the end of the season, LeBron James is your MVP, Nikola Pekovic Rookie of the Year, Ryan Anderson 6-man, Josh Smith DPOY, Drew Holiday MIP, and Greg Popovich Coach of the Year with a 64-18 record. All-NBA first, we have nobody. All-NBA second, nobody. All-NBA third, nobody. Nobody made any All-NBA teams, which is okay. The Chicago Bulls finished the 3rd seed out east, with DeMar DeRozan averaging 18.6 points, 4.7 rebounds, 1.3 assists, and very good efficiency from the free throw on the field. They finished with a 55-27 record, which will place them number 3 out east, facing the New York Knicks in the first round. Go ahead and simulate it. And it's a pretty okay. They push in 6 versus the New Jersey Nets in the second round. Go ahead and simulate that. And they advance for the 3rd time in a row, facing the Miami Heat, this time without Derrick Rose. Go ahead and simulate that round. And they lose in 6 versus the Spurs, and the Miami Heat win in 7. DeMar DeRozan has joined the San Antonio Spurs just in time. They just recently won a championship and are looking to win another one. This team is looking really good with a young Kawhi Leonard who's an 88, Tim Duncan who's 87 and still very good. And then DeMar DeRozan obviously 87 overall, Tony Parker 87, Manu Ginobili 85. So yeah, I'd be a little disappointed if DeMar DeRozan doesn't get one championship either here or in Toronto. The starting lineup will consist of Tony Parker at the 1, DeRozan at the 2, Kawhi at the 3, Tim Duncan at the 4, and Thiago Splitter at the 5. The San Antonio Spurs are looking at a 38-14 record, which is really good. Halfway through the season, the Spurs are 38-14 to the 3rd out west right now. DeMar DeRozan's averaging 15.7 points, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists with 1 steal. His efficiency went up a little bit from the 3-point line, so he's looking a little better. Kawhi Leonard's having a good season too, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 4.5 assists with 1.6 steals. At the end of the season, Westbrook is your MVP. DeMarcus Cousins, for some reason, is your Rookie of the Year. Kyrie Irving 6-man, Anthony Davis DPOY, and Westbrook MIP. Scott Brooks is your Coach of the Year with a 63-19 record. I don't know why. Why the hell DeMarcus Cousins is your Rookie of the Year? That's so weird. Nobody made any All-NBA teams and all-defensive teams. We only have Tim Duncan making an all-defensive second. The Spurs finished with a 50-24 record, which placed us basically as the third best team in the entire league. We are versus the Sacramento Kings in the first round. DeMar DeRozan averaged 16 points, 4 rebounds, about an assist and a half, with a good efficiency, shooting 30% from the 3-point line. I don't think we're gonna have a year where he averages 20 points, because he's always just gonna be on a very good team, unless maybe in his later years in Toronto he might be able to average 20, but I don't think anytime recently. We'll simulate the first round versus the Sacramento Kings, and whoa, a game 7 where the Spurs pulled through in the second round versus Golden State Warriors. And another game 7 they advance. Okay, go ahead and simulate the round, and they lose in 5 versus the Washington Wizards 7th seed. This would have been the easiest championship for DeMar DeRozan had he made it to the finals, and they win in 6, OKC Thunder. DeMar DeRozan second to last year in San Antonio. There's Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu still on the team with Kawhi and DeRozan as the young core. For some reason, they won DeRozan off the bench, which, you know what, if 2K decided that, we'll go ahead and roll with it. So right now we have Tony Parker, Danny Green, Kawhi, Tim Duncan, and Thiago Splitter, and as a nice 1-2 punch, we have DeRozan DeRozan and Manu Ginobili off the bench. Monstrous record right now, 44-8. This is disgusting. Not disgusting enough apparently, because right now it's a three-way race to the first seed out west, and out east the Cavs are 46-7. So there's 4 teams right now that have yet to see double digits in losses. DeMar DeRozan off the bench having his best season yet, averaging 18.5 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.2 steals, and the efficiency is always going to be about the same no matter what season we're in. So I'll say it again, championship might happen this season. It might do. At the end of the season, LeBron James is your MVP, Dante Exum Rookie of the Year, Paul Gasol 6th man, Anthony Davis DPOY, and Rudy Fernandez MIP with Coach of the Year 72-12 with the Cleveland Cavaliers. God damn. All-NBA first we had nobody, All-NBA second nobody, All-NBA third we had Tim Duncan make it All-NBA third, All Defensive first, and All Defensive second, only Tim Duncan making it. There's definitely a few powerhouses right now with these 3 teams being really good, 69-13, 66-16, and 59-23, and out east 72-12 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I didn't even peep the Chicago Bulls 69-13 because they were in a different division, so I don't know why the league was ran that way, but it went by division for a few amount of years. And despite your record being really good, if there was teams better than you, you would be the 4th seed, because the Cavs and the Chicago Bulls are in the same division, right? Yeah, they're in the same division, and despite having a 69-13 record, they are the 2nd best team in this division, so they're ultimately below 2 teams that have a better record than. To end the season off, DeMar DeRozan made me eat my words basically. He almost averaged 20 points, averaged 19.3, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and his efficiency again will always be the damn near the same. First round versus the Blazers, simulate the round, and if they don't make it to the finals this year, I'm a little disappointed. Second round versus the Clippers, and please advance. They advanced in 6 versus the Golden State Warriors, where they look to have their first finals appearance. They do versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. DeMar DeRozan looking to get his first championship, and they're going to lose in 6. DeMar's last attempt to win a championship with the San Antonio Spurs before moving on to Toronto Raptors, where he will forcibly end his career. He and Kawhi Leonard are now officially 90 and 91. LaMarcus Aldridge is now on the team with an 88 overall. Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, and Manu are all reaching their end of their careers, where 83, 80, and 78 overall are seen. But the team is still good. I'm going to say it again, the team is still good, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and win the championship this year either. Not looking too good. 27-25 for the Spurs and DeMar DeRozan. This is arguably No, this is DeRozan's second worst season. First one obviously being his year with Sacramento in his rookie year, but right now he is averaging 16.3, 5 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and he's actually shooting pretty good from the three-point line, about shooting 34.5%. Despite their bad record, they're still the third seed because of the whole division record thing at the moment, so that's good for them. It's good for them. End of the season MVP goes to Stephen Curry, Rookie of the Year John Wall, Sixth Man of the Year Devin Booker, DPOY Anthony Davis, MIP Kyle Lowry, and Coach of the Year Keith Smart with a 69-13 record. We had nobody make all defensives or all NBA teams, so we'll go straight to the playoffs. We didn't even make the playoffs. Wow, the Spurs did not make the playoffs. They were that bad. They finished with a 40-42 record in DeMar DeRozan's last season with the San Antonio Spurs. He averaged 16 points, 5 rebounds, 2.7 assists with his best shooting performance yet from the three-point line, but unfortunately it was not good enough to make the playoffs. And to end it, Golden State beats Washington Wizards in 6. DeMar DeRozan has now officially hit his Toronto era, where he will be playing here for at least 9 seasons. The roster is looking pretty good, and it's only going to go up until like 2020. So DeMar has about like 4 seasons to be competitive here with his team. The starting lineup will consist of Kyle Lowry at the 1, DeMar DeRozan at the 2, DeMar Carroll at the 3, Serge Ibaka at the 4, and Jonas at the 5. Off the bench, Corey Joseph, Terrence Ross, Fred VanVleet, Jakob Poeltl, and Bismack Biyombo. Pascal Siakam is still a 73 overall, so he's not going to be the player he is that we're used to right now. And then there's Norman Powell. I doubt he's going to see a minute, but these are 2 players to look out for, even Fred VanVleet to look out for, that within the next 2 years are going to blossom and be really key rotational players for the Raptors. About halfway through the season, the Toronto Raptors are 30-23 in DeMar's first season with them. DeRozan's averaging 23.5 points, about 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1.3 steals. His stats definitely went up a little bit because he is the main focus right now. Offensively, the team is going to be placed number 12th, and defensively, the team will be placed 9th. For a team that's looking to go into the playoffs and be competitive, being top 10 in both is pretty ideal for them at the moment. At the end of the season, LeBron is your MVP, Blake Griffin, Rookie of the Year. I swear we've seen this about 10 times already. Manu Ginobili, 6th man. We have defensive player Dwight Howard, MIP Jeff Teague, and Coach of the Year Byron Scott with a 68-14 record. Nobody made any All-NBA teams and no one made defensive teams, but we are the 3rd seed right now, which is good. DeRozan finished the season averaging about 24 points, 5 boards, 6 assists, very good numbers from him. And they finished with a 44-38 record, obviously placing them 3rd, going versus the Bucks in the first round. To end the season, they were middle of the pack offensively, and they were top 10 defensively. We'll go ahead and simulate game by game. Game 1 is going to be a dub for the Raptors. Game 2 is a dub for the Bucks. Game 3 is a dub for the Raptors. Game 4, a dub for the Raptors. 3-1 looking to close out the series, and they do. They advance to the second round, and they will face the Washington Wizards in the second round. Game 1, it's a dub for the Raptors. Game 2, it's going to be a dub for the Raptors. Game 3, it's a dub for the Wizards. Game 4, a dub for the Raptors, looking to close out the series now, and they win in 5. They will be versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is a very typical matchup for the Raptors. Game 1, I simulate the round by accident, but I would think it wouldn't matter because we lost in 5. And then go ahead and simulate the playoffs, and the Spurs win in 7. DeMar DeRozan's second year in Toronto, and as we can see, the players are starting to progress into the players they become to this day. Fred VanVleet is now a 78, and Pascal Siakam has jumped up to a 75 overall. So again, this team is really good. Just I feel like as long as LeBron is still in Cleveland, they're not gonna see much progress. At the trade deadline, the Raptors are 31-22 in DeMar's second season, which is a little bit better than last season. DeMar is averaging a flat 23 points with 5 rebounds and 6 assists, and overall the team is 13th offensively and top 10 defensively once again. I'm actually excited to see how this team's gonna look like once Siakam becomes an all-star, Fred VanVleet becomes the all-star he was, and overall just having that Kawhi Leonard team with them is gonna be so nasty to see, because the Raptors not only won the championship that year but also traded DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. So imagine just having that championship team without having to give up DeMar DeRozan. I'm gonna start skipping over this because it's always the same players winning Rookie of the Year and Sixth Man and whatnot. One player that did change though is DPOY goes to Paul George and the OKC Thunder. DeMar DeRozan finished the season averaging 23.6 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 6.5 assists. They finished top 10 offensively and top 10 defensively. They finished the 3rd seed with a 53-29 record, where they will face the Washington Wizards in the first round. Game 1 is a dub for the Wizards. Game 2 is a dub for the Wizards, so we're down 2-0 going back into Washington, where we take a game is 2-1. It is 3-1 in Washington's favor. It is 3-2. Can we come back and force a game 7? We do force a game 7. We're gonna go ahead and simcast the game 7. I kind of want to be able to jump in and see how the teams perform if it's a close game, but it looks like it's gonna be a blowout, and the Wizards are gonna blow a 3-1 lead with the Raptors advancing to the second round. In the second round versus the Miami Heat, game by game, game 1 goes to the Heat, game 2 goes to the Heat, game 3 goes to the Heat. Are we gonna get swept? Raptors pull a game. It's a 3-1 series. It's a 3-2 series. Are they going to force a game 7? No, they do not. They lose in 6. In the finals, the Spurs and the Cavs meet once again. Go ahead and simulate the round, and the Cavs this time win in 5. We have now reached the Toronto Raptors year, where they have won the championship, this time with DeMar DeRozan added to the team. And coincidentally enough, Kawhi Leonard and DeRozan are once teammates again. They originally played for the Spurs together, and now they have officially met for one season in the Raptors. If DeRozan does not get his championship with the team that literally won the championship this year, I'm going to feel bad for him, and I'm going to be disappointed in the team. As you guys can see, the entire lineup is basically just full of 80 overall, so it's a really stacked team and well-rounded. The starting lineup will consist of Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard, Siakam, and Marc Gasol, and then off the bench, Fred VanVleet, Serge Ibaka, Danny Green, Norman Powell, and OG Anunoby, and also Jeremy Lin over here getting a nice little 10 minutes. Let's not forget about that. At the trade deadline, the Raptors are 30-13, which is one of the best records DeMar DeRozan has had yet at the trade deadline. Kawhi is averaging 22 points, 7 boards, 4 assists with about 2 steals. DeMar DeRozan's averaging 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. Obviously, his numbers are going to be a little down because the team is just so stacked, so he's not going to be averaging close to 20. Offensively, the Raptors are number 4, and defensively, the Raptors are number 1 in the entire league. We had Kawhi Leonard represent Toronto by making an all-defensive second team, and that is it. DeRozan finished the season averaging 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and Kawhi Leonard finished with 22 points, 7 boards, 4 assists with 2 steals. Offensively, the Raptors were number 4, and defensively, they still remain number 1. The Toronto Raptors, looking to win a championship, they finished with a 63-19 record, placing them just a little bit behind the Golden State Warriors, tied for the second best team in the entire league. They will face the Wizards in the first round. We'll go game by game once again. Game 1 is a dub. Game 2 is a dub. You know what? I'm just going to simulate the round. It's just the Wizards at the end of it. It is a 2-2 series, and now they advance in 6. If you're wondering why I took control of the Spurs, it's just to trade DeRozan to the Raptors. So don't think I was trying to do any cheesy things. They will face the Bulls in the second round. Go ahead and simulate that too. And the advance in 4, facing the Milwaukee Bucks. This is so funny how it's a Golden State Warriors and Rockets matchup, and same thing with Toronto and Milwaukee. Here we will go game by game. Game 1 is a dub for the Raptors. Game 2 is a dub for the Raptors. Game 3 is a dub for the Raptors. We'll go ahead and simulate the round, and they sweep, advancing in 4. And the finals, we have a repeat, Raptors versus the Warriors. Game 1 goes to the Warriors. Game 2 goes to the Raptors. Game 3 goes to the Warriors. Game 4 goes to the Raptors in the 2-2 series. Whoever wins Game 5, chances are they're going to win the championship. Game 5 goes to the Toronto Raptors. We'll go ahead and simcast it to see if they're going to win the championship, and then we'll jump in to kind of see them hold the trophies. But can they repeat history? Win in 6 versus the Warriors in the exact same year. It's a very close game. Looks like the Warriors are going to pull through, though. Unless the Raptors make a miraculous comeback. It doesn't seem to be the case. They are down 13 with a minute to go. So it is a Game 7 right now. Game 7. Hopefully we could get a close one, because I kind of want to jump in, get some extra footage right there. It looks like the Warriors are going to pull through, though, on this. Yeah, okay. Obviously, the very stacked Golden State Warriors go ahead and win in 7. With a tough Game 7 loss in the finals, Kawhi Leonard decided to leave and go to the Clippers, leaving his long-loved duo DeMar DeRozan alone in Toronto. But the team's good now. Siakam's in 87, Fred VanVleet progressed to an 85, and overall, they still have the main core, just no Kawhi Leonard, which is going to hurt them a lot. The starting lineup this season will be Kyle Lowry, OG, DeRozan, Siakam, Ibaka, and then off the bench, Fred VanVleet, Marcus Gasol, Norman Powell, and Chris Boucher, with Terran Davis getting 12 minutes. Without Kawhi Leonard, the Toronto Raptors are still very good with a 34-17 record. DeMar DeRozan averaging 20 points, 3.2 rebounds and assists, and almost 1 steal. Offensively, the Raptors are number 5, and defensively, the Raptors are number 6, so almost top 5 in both, which is still really good without Kawhi Leonard. Now, hopefully, DeMar DeRozan can finally get his championship, because after this, it's going to go downhill until about like 2023, especially since the Warriors don't have Kevin Durant anymore. They have to capitalize on this, and LeBron is no longer in the East. They only really have to worry about Embiid and Giannis, and then they could go ahead and progress into the finals. Let me not discredit the Celtics. The Celtics too. They're also very, very good. The Raptors finished the 4th seed with a 56-26 record. DeMar DeRozan averaged 21 points and about 3.3 assists and rebounds. And offensively, they dropped down to 6, and defensively, they climbed up the top 5. So they went down 1 spot offensively and went up 1 spot defensively. They are versus the Orlando Magic, who you don't want to face in the first round, because they will go ahead and steal a game. We'll go ahead and submit the round because it is the first round. And the Raptors advance in 5 versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Game 1 is a dub for Philly. Game 2 is a dub for Philly. Game 3 is a dub for Philly. The Raptors are probably going to get swept. The Raptors got swept. It is a Philly-Lakers matchup, and Philly wins in 5. Congratulations, Ben Simmons. You're not going to Brooklyn. DeMar DeRozan, that was your last chance to win a championship, realistically. I don't think he's going to win a championship with the 2022, 2023, and then this current year Raptors, because I don't see it. But as you can see, the team is getting worse and worse by the season. Siakam is in 86, Fred VanVleet in 85, and slowly by the season, they will start losing most of these players. The starting lineup is not looking too good. We have Fred VanVleet at the 1, OG at the 2, DeRozan at the 3, Siakam at the 4, and Thad Young at the 5, with Kyle Lowry being our best bench player at 81 overall. The Raptors finished 37-45. They are now a play-in team. They will be facing the Atlanta Hawks to try and get the 7 seed. DeMar DeRozan averaged 20 points, about 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, shooting 39, almost 40% from the 3-point line, so that's hella good. As you guys can see, they were really bad offensively, damn near bottom 5. But defensively, they're top 5, so I guess that's what made them win 37 games. I don't know. Versus the Hawks in the play-in, trying to snag a 7 seed. I don't know if the Raptors even want a 7 seed. Maybe they want to get the 8 seed, but it's kind of risky. But it doesn't seem like they will have a choice. Yeah, they're going to be fighting for the 8 seed. Toronto versus New York Knicks in the last round of the play-in, and the Raptors lose. Wow. I'm pretty sure they would have lost anyways going versus the Heat, but who knows? Maybe they go to the finals. Am I being delusional? Yeah, they definitely wouldn't have made it to the finals. We have a Heat-Lakers finals, just like in real life, and the Lakers sweep in 4. And our third to last season, we've officially hit the Scotty Barnes era of the Toronto Raptors. This is his rookie year, and the team is still afloat. They did make the playoffs this year, but in 2K, I don't see them going really far, to be honest. Starting lineup is Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, DeMar DeRozan, Scotty Barnes, and Pascal Siakam. Off the bench, OG, Chris Boucher, Precious, Yuta Watanabe, and Thaddeus Young. Once again, the Raptors that made the play-in versus the Atlanta Hawks. Maybe this time they could advance and actually go. It'd be versus the Bucks. I don't know what matchup they prefer, Bucks or Philly, but either or, it's not going to look good for them. DeRozan averaged 20 points, 3.1 rebounds, and 3.3 assists, and they finished with a 43-39 record. Almost, had they won 2 more games, would have been out of the play-in and secured a playoff spot. To face the Bucks or to fight for the 8 seed to potentially face the Sixers, looks like the Raptors will advance and face the Bucks in the first round. Pretty convincingly too. We had 2 players score 20 points and 3 score 17, with 1 scoring 16. And the first round with the Bucks, we're gonna simulate the round. I don't think it's gonna end well. Yeah, they got swept. That was to be expected. And in the finals, we have a Clippers-Philly matchup, and Philly wins in 6. And our second to last season with DeMar DeRozan and the Raptors is the last season that we're seeing DeRozan be with Siakam, OG, and Fred VanVleet. Scotty Barnes has now progressed to an 87 overall after winning Rookie of the Year, and they're looking to somewhat be competitive in the playoffs. This time around, the Raptors actually solidified a playoff spot, and they are the 4th seed. How? I don't know. DeMar DeRozan did have a good season, averaging 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 3.2 assists, shooting also 37% from the 3-point line. Their offense was damn near bottom 5 in the league, so their defense must have been number 1. Yeah, the number 1 defense in the entire league, so that explains a lot. So as we saw, they were the 4th seed with a 48-34 record, facing the New York Knicks in the first round. Go ahead and simulate the round. And the Raptors advance in 5 facing the Boston Celtics. Here we will go game by game. Game 1's a dub for the Celtics. Game 2 for the Celtics. Game 3 for the Raptors. Game 4 for the Celtics. And Game 5 for the Celtics. This is just tough, man. This is just really tough. We have one more year. Definitely not our best chance to win the championship. Philly wins it. But, yeah, it's not looking good for DeMar DeRozan. And our last season of this simulation, this is the current day Toronto Raptors. As you can see, the team is decent. Not the greatest, but adding DeMar DeRozan, and maybe they can make it into like a 7-6 seed-ish. The starting lineup will be Emmanuel Quickley at the 1, Gary Trent at the 2, DeRozan at the 3, Scottie Barnes at the 4, and Jakob at the 5 with RJ off the bench. To be honest, I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting at least like some championships. I don't know. Like, to me, DeMar DeRozan reversing his career, that just seemed very overpowered. Having him play with the Spurs with Tim Duncan and Kawhi, and then having him play with the Toronto Raptors that won the championship. I thought guaranteed at least 2 championships, but maybe not. Maybe he just wins 1 championship this year, but with the record right now of a 6-23 record, it doesn't seem to be the case. Once again, to end the season, nobody made all NBA teams. The Raptors did not make the playoffs, not even the play-in. Quite an unfortunate way to end the last year of DeMar DeRozan with the Raptors in the last season of this video, but he finished with 17.5 points, 3 rebounds, 3.5 assists, with the Raptors finishing with a 35-47 record, almost play-in bound, but not quite. Anyways, guys, this was me reversing DeMar DeRozan's career, where he starts with the Kings and ends with the Raptors, and then in between points Chicago and San Antonio. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like, comment, subscribe, share to your great grandmothers, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces Maluses.